A Harvard cardiologist published a study that stopped the medical community cold. Men who could do just 40 push-ups in a row had a 96% lower risk of a heart attack compared to men who couldn't manage 10. 96%. Not from running marathons, not from spin class or a gym membership, from push-ups. Now think about what that means for you, because today we're going to talk about something even more modest. Just 25 push-ups, twice a day, 50 total. It takes about 90 seconds. No equipment, no warm-up ritual, no drive to the gym. And yet, what starts happening inside your body, inside your muscles, your heart, your brain, your hormones, is nothing short of extraordinary.
Here's the myth that keeps most people stuck. You need to do a long workout to get results. An hour in the gym, a complicated program, progressive overload with barbells and protein shakes. That's what the fitness industry has sold us for decades. And for many goals, getting huge, competing in sports, yes, that's true. But for the foundational health most people actually need, the science tells a completely different story. Research published in the JAMA Network Open tracked over 1,100 men for a decade. The single best predictor of long-term cardiovascular health wasn't their VO2 max. It wasn't how many miles they ran. It was push-up capacity. A body weight exercise you can do in your pajamas before your coffee gets cold.
Before we go deeper, let's settle the anatomy question, because this is where most people underestimate the push-up. When you lower your chest toward the floor and press back up, your body isn't just working your arms. Research from the American Council on Exercise has identified approximately 20 distinct muscles activating in a single push-up. Your pectoralis major, the big chest muscle, does the heavy lifting. Your triceps extend the elbow. Your anterior deltoids raise the shoulder. Your serratus anterior stabilizes the shoulder blade. Your core, rectus abdominis, obliques, transverse abdominis, contracts the entire time to keep your spine rigid. Your quads and glutes fire to keep your hips from sagging. Think of it like this. A push-up isn't an arm exercise. It's a moving plank with a chest press attached. When you drop into your first set of 25 push-ups in the morning, the first system to respond is your neuromuscular system, and it responds within the first few repetitions. Your motor cortex sends electrical signals down your spinal cord to the motor neurons that fire your muscle fibers. In the beginning, most of that adaptation is purely neural. Your muscles aren't growing yet. Your brain is learning to recruit them more efficiently. Think of it like a dimmer switch. When you're untrained, you might have the switch at 40%. With consistent daily practice, your nervous system gradually dials that switch up towards 70, 80, 90%. Same muscles, dramatically more output. This is why even after just 1 week of daily push-ups, most people feel noticeably stronger, even though their muscles haven't physically changed yet. Now let's talk about your heart, because this is where 25 push-ups twice a day earns its place in the science. The cardiovascular response begins before you finish your first rep. Your heart rate elevates. Cardiac output, the volume of blood pumped per minute, increases. Your blood vessels dilate to deliver oxygen to working muscles. Over days and weeks of consistent practice, the heart adapts. The left ventricle, which pumps oxygenated blood to your entire body, gradually becomes more efficient. Stroke volume, the amount of blood ejected with each beat, increases. That means at rest, your heart beats fewer times per minute to accomplish the same work. A lower resting heart rate, less wear and tear, and the endothelium, the thin cellular lining of your blood vessels, responds to repeated blood flow increases by releasing nitric oxide, which keeps vessel walls flexible and reduces arterial stiffness. That's the mechanism behind that 96% cardiovascular risk reduction. Here's something most people never connect. Doing push-ups before breakfast may be one of the most powerful things you can do for your blood sugar, even if you're not diabetic, even if you're not overweight. When skeletal muscle contracts, it activates a protein called GLUT4, which acts like a side door for glucose to enter muscle cells, completely independent of insulin. No insulin signal required. The muscle just opens up and absorbs glucose directly. This is enormous. In a world where insulin resistance is quietly affecting roughly 1 in 3 American adults, having a tool that bypasses the insulin system entirely is medically significant. 25 push-ups in the morning after an overnight fast essentially acts as a glucose drain. Your muscles soak up circulating blood sugar the way a sponge absorbs water. You finish your set, you've already done something metabolically meaningful before you've eaten a single bite.
Meet David. He's 47, works in IT project management, sits 9 hours a day, and hasn't exercised consistently in about 6 years. Not because he doesn't want to, he's tried gym memberships, running plans, home workout apps. Each time, life intervenes within 2 to 3 weeks. Work crunch, travel, illness, fatigue, the cycle repeats. His doctor has told him his fasting glucose is borderline. His resting heart rate sits at 78. He gets winded climbing 2 flights of stairs. David isn't unusual. He represents the majority of men between 40 and 55 in the United States. One evening, he reads about the Harvard push-up study. The number that sticks? 90 seconds. That's all it takes to do 25 push-ups twice a day. His phone goes on the floor next to his bed. The next morning, he does his first set. He manages 14 before his form collapses. He does 14.
Your brain is listening to every push-up you do. Within minutes of a resistance exercise bout, your body increases production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. If you haven't heard of BDNF, pay attention, because neuroscientists call it miracle grow for the brain. It's a protein that promotes the growth of new neurons, strengthens synaptic connections, and protects existing brain cells from degeneration. Studies show that even brief exercise sessions, we're talking 10 to 15 minutes, meaningfully elevate BDNF levels. Higher BDNF is associated with better working memory, faster processing speed, improved mood, and measurably reduced risk of Alzheimer's disease. On top of BDNF, exercise elevates dopamine and serotonin, both within the set and in the hours following. That mid-morning focus and mood lift you feel after a quick set of push-ups, that's not motivation or discipline, that's biochemistry.
Let's talk about timing, because when you do your push-ups matters nearly as much as doing them. Morning push-ups, ideally within the first 30 to 60 minutes after waking, intercept your cortisol peak. Cortisol naturally spikes when you wake. This is your body mobilizing energy for the day ahead. Without a physical outlet, that cortisol stays elevated, contributing to anxiety, brain fog, and fatigue by mid-morning. When you do 25 push-ups, you give cortisol a job to do. You use it to fuel the muscle contraction. The spike is metabolized. You come out the other side calmer, more alert, with a cleaner hormonal baseline for the rest of the morning. The second set, done in the early evening, between 4 and 7 p.m., takes advantage of your body temperature peak. Core temperature is highest in late afternoon, which means your muscles are maximally warm and pliable. Performance is typically 10 to 15% better than at any other time of day. It also signals your nervous system that the active day is winding down, which primes better sleep onset later. Now here's where the real magic lives, the hormonal response. Resistance exercise, even moderate intensity bodyweight work, triggers a release of testosterone and growth hormone. Both are anabolic signals, meaning they tell your body to build and repair. Testosterone begins rising within 15 to 20 minutes of starting a resistance bout. Growth hormone peaks roughly 30 minutes post-exercise. For men, this matters acutely. Testosterone naturally declines by roughly 1% per year after age 30. By 45, many men have lost 15 to 20% of their peak testosterone without noticing the slow slide. Fatigue, reduced drive, decreased muscle recovery, all attributed to aging when the real culprit is often inactivity. 2 sets of push-ups per day won't turn you into an athlete, but they will consistently nudge your hormonal environment toward anabolic, toward building, recovering, and maintaining every single day. Back to David. Day 14. He's now consistently hitting 25 reps in his morning set. His form isn't perfect, but he's locked in a rhythm. His evening set started at 15 reps and is now up to 20. Something else he didn't expect, his lower back hurts less. He thought that was a disc issue. His doctor told him it might be. But what was actually happening is that his deep core, which had been chronically disengaged from 6 years of desk work, was starting to reactivate. The transverse abdominis, the deepest abdominal layer that acts like a corset around the spine, fires during every push-up. 2 sessions a day, every day. That's 14 activations per week. His spine is getting more support than it has in years. His posture at the desk has shifted slightly. His screen is no longer as far below his eye line. He doesn't know why. His body figured it out. Let's address the people who think they can't do push-ups. This is the most important access point in this entire video. The standard push-up is one version of a movement that exists on a spectrum. At the easiest end, a wall push-up. You stand 2 feet from a wall, place your palms flat, and press. That's real resistance training. Angle it enough and even fit people feel it. Next, an incline push-up with your hands on a countertop, a sturdy chair, or a step. The higher the surface, the easier. As your strength builds, you lower the surface. Then comes the knee push-up. Chest to the floor, knees down. Then the full push-up. Then feet elevated for extra challenge. The physiology is identical up and down this spectrum. Same 20 muscles, same cardiovascular response, same BDNF, same hormonal signal. The only variable is the load. Start where you are, not where you think you should be. Posture. It's the benefit that takes longest to arrive, but affects everything from your appearance to your chronic pain profile. Modern life systematically destroys posture. 10 years of screen time builds a pattern called upper cross syndrome. Tight pectorals, tight upper traps, weak deep cervical flexors, weak lower traps and rhomboids. The head drifts forward, the shoulders round, the thoracic spine curves. It looks like aging, it feels like aging. Push-ups, done with proper form, elbows at 45 degrees, shoulder blades actively retracted at the top of each rep, core rigid, directly counter the desk posture pattern. Your serratus anterior, the muscle that wraps around your ribs and holds your shoulder blade flat against your back, gets stronger. Your anterior deltoids and pectorals get worked in a controlled range that, combined with gravity and the body's adaptive response, pulls the shoulder girdle back into a more neutral alignment. 8 weeks of consistent push-ups changes the resting position of your shoulders. That's not speculation. It's what the anatomy demands. One of the most counterintuitive benefits of a daily push-up habit is the effect on sleep. When most people think about improving sleep, they think about the evening. Blue light blockers, melatonin, cooler bedroom temperatures. All valid. But the architecture of sleep is largely determined by what you do during the day. Physical activity, even a single brief bout, raises adenosine, the sleep pressure molecule that accumulates throughout the day and drives your need for deep sleep. More adenosine by evening means faster sleep onset and more time in slow-wave sleep, the deepest, most physically restorative stage. A 2019 meta-analysis in Preventive Medicine Reviews found that resistance exercise specifically, not just cardio, significantly improves sleep quality, reduces time to fall asleep, and decreases the number of nighttime awakenings. 2 sets of push-ups a day is resistance exercise. It counts. Here's the timeline you can actually expect. Not the optimistic social media version, but the research-backed reality. In days 1 through 7, the primary adaptation is neural. You'll feel stronger, but your muscles haven't changed. Your nervous system is learning. Soreness peaks in days 2 and 3 for beginners, then diminishes. By days 14 through 21, muscle protein synthesis has been elevated consistently enough that actual hypertrophy, microscopic structural changes in muscle fibers, begins. Your chest, shoulders, and triceps start to feel slightly harder to the touch. By the end of month 1, your resting heart rate has measurably dropped if you were sedentary before. Cardiovascular efficiency has improved. Your fasting glucose, if elevated, is trending down. Months 2 and 3 are when the visual changes become apparent. Body composition is shifting. Posture has changed. People who see you after a gap in time notice something different, even if they can't name what it is. This is what 90 seconds twice a day builds. Maybe you've tried push-ups before, you did a week or 2, you stalled, you stopped. Here's the most important thing you need to understand about why that happened, and it has nothing to do with willpower or discipline. It has to do with the fundamental mismatch between how exercise habits are usually started and how the human nervous system actually adopts new behaviors. When most people start a new fitness habit, they go from 0 to intensity immediately. They decide to do 50 push-ups a day. They manage 3 days.
Soreness derails them on day 4, or life does, and the identity reset happens. I'm someone who tried and failed. That identity is now harder to overcome than the physical challenge ever was. The fix isn't motivation. The fix is a starting dose so small it's almost embarrassing. 10 push-ups in the morning, 10 at night. That's the entry point. You cannot fail at 10, and you will not stay at 10, but you have to start there.
There's a second reason previous attempts failed, and this one is biochemical. Muscle soreness, specifically delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS, peaks at 24 to 72 hours after a new exercise stimulus. If you go hard on day 1, day 3 feels like punishment. Your chest is sore. Your triceps ache when you reach for something. Your nervous system registers exercise equals pain, and the motivation to repeat drops sharply. The solution is called the repeated bout effect. When you start at a low dose and repeat the stimulus daily, your connective tissue, your muscle fibers, and your nervous system adapt rapidly to that specific movement. DOMS after session 2 is lighter than after session 1. By session 5, it's nearly gone for that dose. You can then add volume, 15, then 20, then 25 reps, without the blowback. Each small increase barely triggers soreness because your tissues are already primed. This isn't a soft option. It's the fastest route to a permanent daily habit. Form is where most push-up benefits get quietly stolen. A collapsed lower back, flared elbows, a head that juts forward. These aren't just aesthetic errors. They're mechanical leaks that redirect force away from the muscles you're trying to train and into joints that weren't designed to absorb it. Here's the form that actually works. Start in a plank position, hands placed slightly wider than shoulder width, fingers pointing forward. Your body is a straight line from the crown of your head to your heels, not a tent, not a hammock. Core is braced as if you're about to take a punch. Elbows track at roughly 45 degrees from your torso as you lower, not flared out to 90, not pinned tight to your sides. You lower until your chest touches or nearly touches the floor. Then you press fully to lock out at the top, actively retracting your shoulder blades. That retraction at the top, squeezing the shoulder blades together for a half second, is the difference between a push-up that fixes posture and one that accelerates the problem. Breathing. Most people don't think about it. Most people hold their breath on the hard part. This is called the Valsalva maneuver, and at heavy loads, it serves a purpose. But during a set of 25 push-ups, it spikes blood pressure unnecessarily and reduces the efficiency of every single rep. The correct pattern is simple. Inhale as you lower, exhale as you press up. Inhale on the eccentric, the lowering phase. Exhale on the concentric, the push. Exhale as you exert. This does 3 things simultaneously. It prevents unnecessary blood pressure spikes. It activates the deep core more completely. Exhaling while pressing causes the transverse abdominis to engage harder, giving your spine more support during the most demanding moment. And it paces your repetitions naturally, preventing the frantic, rushed reps that compromise form when fatigue hits. Breathe. Every single rep. It changes the exercise. Your hands tell the floor something it tells your whole kinetic chain. Hand position is a variable most beginners never change, and most experienced push-up practitioners never fully exploit. Standard position. Hands slightly wider than shoulder width, fingers forward. This is your baseline. Maximum muscle recruitment across the chest, shoulders, and triceps. Narrow position. Hands under your sternum, thumbs nearly touching. This shifts the load dramatically to your triceps, the back of your arms, and the medial head of your pectorals. Think of these as the diamond or close grip push-up. Wide position. Hands 4 to 6 inches wider than standard. This increases pectoral stretch at the bottom and shifts emphasis to the outer chest. Staggered position. One hand forward, one back. This introduces a rotational anti-torque demand on the core. As your daily 25 reps become effortless, and they will, changing hand position once per week is the simplest way to keep your body adapting without adding reps. Same 25, different hands, different stimulus. David, day 30, he's doing 25 reps in the morning without stopping and 25 in the evening. His resting heart rate, which was 78 when he started, is now 71. He went to his follow-up appointment,
His fasting glucose had dropped from 108 to 97, out of the pre-diabetic range. His doctor asked what he'd changed. He said, push-ups. The doctor looked mildly skeptical, but wrote it down. His wife told him he looked like he was standing differently. He doesn't own a scale, but his belt is on the next notch in. He's sleeping, actually sleeping, for the first time in a couple of years without the half-awake 3 a.m. spell that he'd normalized as just part of getting older. He's not an athlete, he doesn't have abs, he hasn't transformed. But something has shifted in how he occupies his body. Something quiet and fundamental. He's not waiting for a workout window anymore. The workout is built into the day, like brushing his teeth. It just happens. Here's the protocol, the exact implementation you can start today. Morning set. Within 60 minutes of waking, before your first meal if possible. Drop to the floor, your bed, your wall, whatever version of the push-up matches your current level. Do 25 repetitions or your current maximum with good form. If your maximum is 8, do 8. 3 controlled breaths after, then get on with your morning. That's it. Evening set. Between 4 and 7 p.m., ideally before your largest meal. Same movement, same rep target. If your morning set was wall push-ups, your evening set is wall push-ups. Match the variation. The total daily investment, approximately 90 seconds. That is not a misprint. 90 seconds split across 2 sessions delivers everything we've discussed. The cardiovascular stimulus, the BDNF and hormonal response, the glucose clearance, the core engagement, the postural work, the sleep architecture improvement. The catch, the only catch, is that it must be every single day. Not most days, every day. Consistency is the mechanism. When 25 reps become comfortable, and they will, typically somewhere between week 3 and week 6, you have 4 ways to progress without abandoning the core habit. Option 1, add 5 reps. Move to 30 per session. This is the simplest path. Option 2, slow the tempo. A 3-count lowering phase instead of 1 count turns a 25 rep set from a 45-second bout into a 90-second metabolic challenge with dramatically increased time under tension, the primary driver of muscle growth. Option 3, change the variation. Feet elevated push-ups shift more load to the upper chest and anterior deltoids. Archer push-ups, where you extend one arm wide to the side while pressing with the other, are a unilateral challenge that bridges toward the one-arm push-up. Option 4, add a pause. A 2-second pause at the bottom of each rep when your muscles are fully stretched and at their most mechanically disadvantaged position turns 25 reps into one of the most demanding bodyweight chest exercises possible. You don't need a gym, you need a floor and a principle. Progressive overload works in every direction, not just heavier weight. There's a question I want to address directly because it will come up in your mind if it hasn't already. Is this enough? Is 50 push-ups a day, 25 twice, actually sufficient exercise? The honest answer is, it depends on your goal. If your goal is to become a competitive athlete, build a significant physique, or run a marathon, no, this is not a complete program. You'll need more. But if your goal is to be meaningfully healthier than you are right now, to reduce your cardiovascular disease risk, improve your metabolic markers, protect your brain, sleep better, stand taller, feel stronger, and extend your functional health span, then yes. For the majority of the people watching this video, the gap between where you are and where this practice takes you is substantial. And the most important truth in exercise science right now is this. The largest health gains come from moving from sedentary to minimally active, not from moving from fit to very fit. That first step delivers the most. And 25 push-ups twice a day is a first step almost anyone can take. Muscle memory is a term people use loosely, but the underlying phenomenon is real and relevant here. As you practice the push-up daily, the movement becomes encoded in your cerebellum, the brain structure responsible for coordinating learned motor patterns. Within 6 to 8 weeks, the push-up transitions from a conscious act requiring deliberate attention to an automatic movement requiring almost none. This matters beyond convenience. Automaticity means your motor cortex is no longer burning significant cognitive resources on the movement itself, which means execution requires less perceived effort. The same 25 reps that felt demanding in week 1 feel genuinely easy by week 8. Not because you've gotten lazy, but because your nervous system has built an efficient subroutine. This is also why, if you ever stop and restart weeks later, you return to your previous capacity far faster than you'd expect. The motor pattern is retained in cerebellar memory far longer than the muscle adaptation. Your brain keeps the blueprint even when the body temporarily loses the build. Let's talk about body composition, the ratio of muscle to fat, because this is often what people mean when they say they want to get in shape, even if they don't frame it that way. Daily push-ups alter body composition through 2 simultaneous mechanisms. Mechanism 1, muscle protein synthesis. Each bout of resistance exercise triggers a wave of MPS. Your body manufactures new contractile proteins to rebuild and reinforce the muscle fibers that were stressed. Over weeks, this adds lean tissue. Mechanism 2, resting metabolic rate. Muscle is metabolically expensive tissue. Each pound of muscle burns approximately 6 to 10 calories per day just to exist, compared to roughly 2 to 3 for fat tissue. As your lean mass increases, even modestly, your resting caloric burn increases with it. You're burning more calories while doing nothing. This isn't dramatic. We're not talking about a transformation in 30 days. But over 6 months, the compound effect of slightly increased lean mass and slightly elevated resting metabolism is a measurably different body composition without a single change to your diet. Here's one more thing the research shows, something that surprised even the scientists who found it. Regular push-up practice, specifically the plank hold component of maintaining body rigidity throughout each rep, has been associated with reduced anxiety symptoms. Not eliminated, reduced. The mechanism involves the vagus nerve, the longest nerve in the body, which connects your brain to your gut, heart, and lungs. Resistance exercise activates the vagal tone, the measure of how responsive your parasympathetic nervous system is. Higher vagal tone means your nervous system shifts more easily from the activated, threat-scanning state into the calm, regulated state. Think of it like a thermostat that resets lower. People with higher vagal tone recover faster from stress. They return to baseline more quickly after anxiety spikes. They sleep more deeply. They have better emotional regulation. A meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that resistance exercise reduced anxiety symptoms by 20% on average across 16 studies. 20%. From moving your body. David, day 90, he's doing 30 push-ups in the morning now. He added 5 somewhere around week 7 without really deciding to. It just felt natural. His evening set is 28. He's thinking about adding a set of bodyweight rows using his desk. His resting heart rate is 67. His doctor at the 3-month checkup removed the borderline language from his chart. His fasting glucose is 94. His energy in the afternoons, which used to crater around 2 p.m. requiring coffee to function, has stabilized. He hasn't had a sick day in 11 weeks, which for him is unusual. He's mentioned the push-up habit to 4 people. 2 of them have started. He doesn't have a before and after photo. He didn't document it. It wasn't a transformation he planned. It was a decision he made at floor level one morning that he simply kept making again and again until it was no longer a decision at all. The compounding nature of this habit is the last thing I want you to hold on to. We talk about compound interest in finance, small, consistent returns that multiply over time into something large. Exercise science has the same principle, and it's even more powerful because the returns are biological, not just financial. The strength you build in month 1 makes month 2 easier. The cardiovascular improvement in month 2 improves your energy in month 3, which makes it easier to do other healthy things. The better sleep you get by month 3 improves your cognitive function, your emotional regulation, and your recovery, which makes month 4's training more effective. These are not independent variables. They reinforce each other. A habit that costs 90 seconds a day and builds these compounding returns is, by any rational measure, one of the highest return investments available to a human being. Not the highest intensity, the highest return. There is a difference.
Here's what I want you to do right now. Not tomorrow, not after the video, right now. Find a clear patch of floor, or a wall, or a chair. Drop into your first set. However many reps you can do with good form, that's your starting number. Write it down. That's your baseline. Now you know where you started. Because 90 days from now, when you're doing 30 clean reps without thinking about it, when your resting heart rate has dropped and your energy is stable, and your doctor has noticed something different in your numbers, you're going to want to know how far you came. If this video gave you something, a framework, a fact, a reason to start, hit the like button. It helps more people find this channel. And subscribe if you want to keep receiving content built on science, not hype. And one last thing, in the comments below, tell me your starting number. Right now, how many push-ups can you do in one set? Write the number, whatever it is, 3, 5, 14, 40, write it. That comment is the first rep of your new habit.